All right. I was listening to this story online that was very, very fascinating. And it's about New York City and how young people are basically being subsidized by their families to live in New York City. And this reporter, it was an audio clip that I heard from this reporter, but basically what the reporter was saying was that there is a huge number of people who live in New York, you know, younger millennials, maybe even some Gen Xers, maybe even some Gen Zers. But this reporter basically dug into the situation, started asking people, you know, asking around, and found out that a huge number of people would not be able to afford to live in New York City without their parents paying their way. And I thought, wow, like, I couldn't imagine being 30 years old, 35 years old, and my parents paying for me just to live. But it also made me feel a lot better about myself in the situation that I'm in right now in my own life. Because I don't own a house, I'm 30. My wife and I have good jobs, decent paying jobs. We work in education, so we have a good, you know, we kind of trade the money bags just for a solid schedule and whatnot. And but I had this feeling of being just down about myself because I didn't own the house. I didn't have what everyone else had. The perception that I had of other people on, you know, social media or just in general was like, man, what do I have to do to get on the same level as these people? But hearing this story about how a bunch of people are having their rent paid for by their rich families really kind of opened my eyes to the way that the game works and allowed me to feel a little bit more secure about myself, because I'm not getting that. I don't live in New York City, but I would imagine that there's a huge number of people who are my age who have the same type of privileges and who are being subsidized by their families, whether it's and when I say subsidized, I basically mean like they're, you know, paying their rent or giving them a down payment on the house or giving them a house. There's people with money who are just paying their kids' way through life, and that's unfortunately just not possible for me. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to hate on anybody for doing that. If my parents had the money to pay my way through life, it would probably make me feel a little guilty, or I'd feel a little shame, and that's what a lot of people were feeling in that situation. But I'd take it twice as fast as you would. I mean, let's be honest. There's no need for pride in that situation. But that's not my reality. But what has me feeling better about just myself and who I am is that when I see these people who I feel like are achieving a ton more than me, and maybe you feel the same way, you got to kind of look at it like there are definitely some factors that play into it that we don't see. Like, no one's going to tell you that their parents bought them that house. You know, none of your peers are going to tell you that, you know, their parents are paying their rent or paying for their groceries, or, you know, they pay their car insurance and cell phone bill and stuff like that. No one's going to say that. But there's a lot more people who have that privilege and who have that opportunity than you would probably even ever imagine. It'd probably shock you how many people that's happening for. So if you're in a position where you feel like you're struggling and you're grinding, like, yeah, you probably are, but that might not be because of your lack of merit or your lack of ability or your lack of skills. It just might be more about the roll of the dice that you got in life and to what family you were born in than anything else. So I think for me, I'm just trying to focus more on the emotional and positive side of my life than what I'm lacking financially. And I'm trying to kind of break and kill the ego more and more each and every day, because it's not serving me. It's stressed me out. I've been very unhappy and frustrated with what I don't have. But I mean, no matter how much money I've got in the bank, no matter what my investments look like, you know, it's going to be far more valuable to the world and to myself and to my family if I'm being a good parent who loves their kid and who's raising a kind and polite person, and who has children who go home knowing that they have a lot of love in the house and they're cared for. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on more these days rather than other things. And I mean, man, my goal is to own a house. My goal is to have some money in the bank, and we try our best to live under our means and all that good stuff, live within our means, and have a tighter budget, just not just for the sake of saving money or getting rich, but simply because I feel like it's kind of a wise thing to do in general. Just you don't need to be buying all the crap that you want to be buying all the time. It's good to show some self-control and some self-discipline. But yeah, man, if you're living your life wondering how these people got these things that you feel like you're more skilled than or whatever, I mean, a very possible scenario might be that the things that they have are just bought for them. So it's a lot of adults out there living on somebody else's dime, and just because you aren't doesn't say anything about you other than you're working hard too, and that's okay. You might not have just gotten lucky enough. Also, I see axe throwing in beer place. I can't imagine a more dangerous place, or a place this is total tangent ADHD situation, but I couldn't imagine a place I'd want to go less with drinking than an area where there's like the potential to have an axe smashed into my head by some drunk person. But anyways, yeah, working class people, don't feel so bad. We're all gonna make it. All right, peace. Oh, one more thing, call into the CAX Dave hotline. Do you know of people in this situation? What are you going through? What are you dealing with? Let me know. 619-800-5622. Call me, leave a voicemail, and I'll respond to you in a future video. I did a voicemail video already, and it was really cool and interesting, just kind of hearing how other people are living in the world and in the United States and whatnot. So, all right, you guys be good. Peace.